I am so thrilled today to be interviewing Mr. Hucal, our very own director here at Sudbury Catholic Schools. It is an absolute pleasure. How are you today, Morris?
Excellent. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciated the invitation. I have watched a number of your videos and just thrilled to be here to share my story and talk to your viewers about what we hope to do here in Sudbury Catholic. Thrilled to be on, hosted by the one and only.
Thank you so much. You know, you've been such a positive influence on our school, coming in and meeting the staff and meeting the students. Here we are, and thank you for taking the time to do this.
No, I think this is important. It allow those that follow you to get to know me better, which is positive.
It is very positive. All right, your first question. Where are you from originally, and what brings you to Sudbury Catholic Schools?
So I was born in Sudbury in 1966, so I just turned 60.
Congratulations.
So thank you. So I attended our elementary schools and high schools. So I to give you a bit of a background. So I attended kindergarten with Sharon Oliver as my teacher, who's still around in Sudbury, and I'm hoping to connect with her. St. Andrew the Apostle on Holland Road. So my family, we grew up in New Sudbury. And my mother is still living in the home I spent basically my childhood and young adulthood in. And so I'll get to that in a second. So I attended St. Andrew the Apostle from K to 6. And then for grade 7 and 8, I attended St. Raphael with Mr. Farah as the principal. And Mr. Trini was my principal at St. Andrew, and I think he's around still too. So I'm hoping to connect with him. And then I went to St. Charles College for grade 9 at Traverse Street campus, and then I went to grade 10 at Pine Street, and then my older brother ended up going to LaSalle, and I ended up following him. You take pathways. I had a good education at LaSalle, but I missed a lot of my friends. So in hindsight, would I have liked to have stayed? I should have stayed. Yeah, probably. So then I graduated after grade 13. I went to Carleton University, studied public administration. I wanted to be a lawyer. And I made it on a couple of shortlists and then didn't work out. I came back to Sudbury after my 4 years honors degree from Carleton. Came back to Sudbury, worked at Tracks and Wheels. Still nice. on Highway 69 North for Conrad Hucal, great family friend. And then I got to into Teachers College, and I went to Western, came back in 91, retiring. Sudbury Catholic wasn't hiring. I ended up getting a job in Hamilton. I worked for Hamilton Wentworth Catholic, where my wife was from. And so I was there for 34 years.
Wow.
The opportunity came here with the former director, Joanne Menard, retiring. And I reflected I was either going to retire after 34 years of service in Catholic education, and thought, wait a minute, wouldn't this be a really cool opportunity to go back, pay it forward, and serve a community that was responsible for forming me as a leader.
So you missed a lot of people back home, and it was the perfect opportunity to jump back in and to just be part of your community once again.
Yeah. So and just to put it into perspective, my older brother and sister-in-law live in the community. My sister and brother-in-law and their daughter live in the community. My mother's still alive, so it was an opportunity to come back, spend some quality time with her. And I have a lot of cousins. So it was like coming home wasn't a big shift.
The big nickel was calling your name.
It was.
You came back to cheer for the Wolves.
I did. Go Wolves, go. And now you've got the Sudbury Five. So,
yeah. Just one of the names you had mentioned, John Torini, was actually my principal when I was a student. Yeah, he worked at Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And so I remember him quite well. He was actually a great friend of my dad's.
Oh, awesome. That's cool.
So that's really cool. That's really cool how things kind of go full circle.
They do.
So what priorities do you hope to focus on now as director?
You know, I'm blessed to come and serve this awesome school board and the school system serving the students, the families that send their children to us, and the amazing staff that I've been able to meet, like yourself and others.
Thank you, sir.
So we're in the midst right now of working on a multi-year strategic plan. So first and foremost, I'm a connector. I like to connect with people. I like to empower people. But I also, in Catholic education, for whom are we called to serve? And that's our students. So I am here to ensure that our students have the best possible education so that we can help them on their pathways. Now, in terms of a focus for mine, probably faith formation is number one. As a Catholic system, our parents entrust the adults to help form their children, and so that we can give them a really good, solid, Catholic education to help form them as discerning believers. So first and foremost, and the dignity of the human person is an important piece for me. To make sure that everyone is treated with respect, because we're all created in the image of God. I also am very passionate about student achievement, especially in numeracy, because being able to have success in mathematics can pave a lot more opportunities for students. We know coding, we know the importance of STEM education, which is leading the way in a lot of the work, but also the importance of literacy skills. On top of that is creating opportunities for our students to become critical thinkers. I think is first and foremost, like digital literacy. We talked, briefly about the wonderful professional activity day we had focused on artificial intelligence.
Yes.
It's here, but there's positive things that AI provides. There's also, the negatives. So how do we ensure that we are creating an ethical use for our students and staff in utilizing this tool and these tools to support student achievement and learning? And I think there are ways of doing that. We've developed some guiding principles that are important. Also, mental health of our staff and students. So staff well-being is very important to me. We've introduced a number of initiatives this year to really encourage staff to get out. Sudbury is awesome in terms of what it offers, both in the spring, summer, fall, and winter. And so the other piece that we're really trying to focus on is how do we tailor instruction so it's personalized? We talked about a tier approach, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and the ranges of interventions that we can provide our students. So there's lots to do. I'm very passionate and excited about, engaging our great staff. Yes. And I hope they're welcoming, a change in terms of direction and open to the possibilities, because it's exciting to be in education right now.
Just going back to what you had mentioned about numeracy, I think you have left a really positive mark on a lot of our students when you have come in and you have given them their awards for completing their mathalons. Yeah. And not just that, by being a great leader and coming in and just being a part of our school community has been very special for us. So we want to thank you for that. I really enjoyed taking that video you at the Christmas feast when you came in with the accordion. That was so awesome.
Well, for me, I think it allows not only our staff but our students to see the personalized, or like maybe a different side to the director. Right. I don't want to be someone who's referred to as the guy that lives at the Catholic Education Center. I like to be visible. Yeah. I like to see how our staff engages and supports our students with amazing things. They do a lot of things, not only during the school day, but before and after as well. Many of them are coaching, many of them are doing extracurricular, which really shows their dedication and vocation to the calling to serve, no matter what role, whether that's support staff, teachers, administration. But I I want to make sure that students know who I am,
Yep.
staff know who I am, know that, they can reach out to me if they have any questions, and that we're always problem solving together.
Absolutely. And what you had mentioned about the AI actually ties into my next conversation.
Okay.
And it's something I'm really, really excited to talk to you about. So after our PA Day, there's a lot of talk about AI. What do you think AI's role will play in today's education?
I think there are facets of AI that I believe can really support all students. Students who may have special education needs, for example, or students that are having difficulty reading or writing. AI, when used properly,
Yeah.
can really be an aid. No different than I use these to drive,
Right.
because otherwise it would be difficult. No different than tools were created to support. And if you think about civilization, right? How workers used to work in mines, for example, because
Yep.
we're in Sudbury. How that has now been a total transformation, how we've used technology to change the working conditions. I see AI in the same way. I'm not advocating that AI is now going to be the cheater tool. I see AI as being a way to leverage critical thinking. Back to, if a student uses it, they should be taught that, okay, what has been provided to me is information. No different when you and I needed information. We were going to school, we went to the library, got the encyclopedia of the book, and we read it. Now everything's at a finger touch. And so how do we know that that actually is real? So that's where the critical thinker comes into play. No different than you could be on your phone, on social media, and you could watch a video that right now you can see it. That's not true. There's no way that, it's a picture of a person on a boat and a shark actually comes in, let's be real here. However, that's a teachable moment. So going back to your original question. So if I'm a student that it takes me a real long time to get a sentence or a story or a paragraph started, utilizing an AI tool may be a great way to help me with a sentence starter, so that a student would use their device and to do that, to prompt them to then, okay, now what is it I can do? No different than AI can be used in order to help a child with their product. Now, that writing sample, I can put it into AI. And what differences did the AI tool provide to compare my story? Was punctuation assisted? Did that help the student with the proper punctuation? Were there other kinds of vocabulary that now the child can learn? So it's very different. No different than there are AI tools like Magma Math, which I hope to bring to Sudbury as well, whereby literally a student is working on a problem.
Yeah.
And in time, the AI tool working and prompting the child to say, hey, have you considered this? So it's almost like having a tutor
24/7.
beside the student.
Yes.
So again, because we know when it comes to mathematics, sometimes students give up early. They don't have that perseverance because for some it's not easy. So at least utilizing a tool like that, it's almost like a coach and a tutor to help them continue, because you know what? Everybody can do it. For some, it may take longer. So that's the way I see it. Now, real quick on that requires our teachers and staff to then rethink how they're going to assess. So we're likely going to probably come to a time where, if I'm giving a rubric out, it'll say, did you use AI to support you in completing this assignment? Yes or no? If you clicked on yes or checked off yes, how much AI did you use? And did you reference? So again, how do you think the AI tool assisted you and explain what was the difference? Do you see what's happening now? It's making me now go back and assess the work and how the tool helped. And what was generated actually correct? Because we have to teach our children that just because you see that, read it, doesn't mean it's actual. It could be fake news.
Absolutely.
Right? So we're at the cusp, and I think it's here. And so why wouldn't we not provide an opportunity for our students, our staff, because there are things that AI will help on the staff end as well.
Yes.
I use AI
Yes.
to assist me in my day-to-day operations, whether I'm writing notes, whether I'm analyzing data, whether I'm asking it to summarize all of the data so that I can have succinct, a summary. But then I go back and I look, how valid. I'm validating what was provided. I'm not just taking it and saying, this is gospel truth.
Yeah. The speaker actually talked about this on the PA day where a teacher was teaching descriptive writing and she was using Canva AI. So the kids would write their piece and then they would use the AI to actually animate what that they had actually written. And it was really cool because their descriptive writing would come out through the AI video that was generated from it.
Right.
And I think this is the language we need to start saying too, is like AI is here to stay.
Right.
And I think it's great that we're embracing it. We want to see AI as more of a GPS system and less of a driverless car.
Right.
It's here to help bridge gaps.
Right.
In a lot of ways. And I think it's also here to make education more tailored to the students' individual needs. And
that is that tiered approach where good for all, but then some need additional intervention. And if you have an app or a program that can allow and support further, why not? As long as it's communicated that way and the child and the parent and the educator know exactly what it's actually designed to do.
Exactly.
And how it will help. Because again, we've already always talked in education about the fact that there's content knowledge. Well, content knowledge is at a click now. But how do we apply that knowledge? That's always the next level, whereby we're trying to get students to be better thinkers and better analyzers of data. And so when we think about student assessment, we talk about, okay, how do they communicate? How are they able to be, again, as I said, good thinkers? How are they able to also analyze that data, and because that's higher order thinking, right? And also AI has an opportunity really that we can really use it to elevate that higher order thinking.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing I wanted to touch on with AI is I think in a lot of cases it can also help diminish some screen time, because let's face it, the internet is a highway of distractibility. I mean, I know for me, if it's something I want to find the answer to right away, I'm able to find exactly what it is that I need to research, what I need to talk about. I'm not clicking so many sites or looking.
Right.
So I think in a lot of ways that is also beneficial to help students too, because
sure.
it's more like it's the instant gratification generation, right?
Right.
So it's not necessarily doing the work for them, but what it's doing is it's helping them get to the answer that they need sooner.
Right.
So
exactly. That's very true. The other piece is, I think we lose sight of the fact that our educators and support staff, when they're programming the day for their students, they are the architects. They're actually the pilots. And when you want to structure your day, you can control how much screen time, right? Because, okay, if students are on now, we're going to do DPA. We're going to be outside. We're going to actually interact with some media that's a book or pen and paper. And so I think it's important that as we're designing that school day, making sure there's a variety of tasks where kids are not sitting all day either.
Yeah.
They're moving around, they're doing group work, they're doing, individual seat work. And that also creates, I think, a more engaged learning environment.
For sure. It was interesting because the speaker also talked about his little grandson being fascinated by dinosaurs. And within seconds, he was able to generate a book, fully illustrated pictures, just really capturing the imagination of his grandson with a story about dinosaurs. And I mean, what a motivator for a child to have a book tailor-made to your interests, right?
Yeah.
So,
And we're challenged in terms of from the Ministry of Education to really reflect on how engaging a school learning environment we are able to create. So again, through that lens, what are we doing to provide for more hands-on learning? Because for many, that's a really important way for them to retain information. But again, you just can't sit and get. You really need to apply that learning.
for sure. And I know as an EA, I actually have used AI to generate social stories for some of the students I'm working with.
Right.
And it's like, again, it's tailor-made to the student, right? So it's all about them. And when they're hearing this and they go, oh, that's me, that's my story, this is my journey, right? So having that AI tool to help me generate a social story for a student that struggles within the classroom has actually been pretty beneficial for me this year. That's something I've been playing around with.
But that's great, because the other piece that's really important as a director, not only for our students to excel, but I really want our staff to feel empowered, engaged, and there is going to be a place for AI to support not only you in your work, but other Sudbury Catholic District School Board staff to do their work and maybe even lead to more excitement about what they do.
For sure. Wow, there's lots to unpack there, eh? It's such an interesting time we're living in. I mean, the technological advances of AI are so vast. Like that Pieta, I was kind of nerding out. Like I'm like taking notes here because it was just really cool hearing about how like AI is assisting in agriculture in Kenya, how robots are helping firefighters save people from burning buildings.
Yeah.
He was talking about how AI-powered drones are helping in Australia to keep beaches safer from shark attacks, right? Because they fly overhead, and just really interesting stuff. Especially in the mining industry too, with the autonomous vehicles, the self-driving vehicles, like all this stuff is just so fascinating.
For sure.
So I think we're really on the cusp of something great. And it's just really cool that like our board is wanting to embrace that. So
well, we're going to do it with that. We're also going to do it through the lens of providing more opportunities for experiential learning, skills, trades, and through robotics and all of that. So you talked about the importance of autonomous vehicles. We've got to provide opportunities for our kids to learn how to code and participate in that because, again, as I said, those are the jobs.